area?
Well, there are some private companies, some of them which are defense contractors.
Yeah.
Now, many defense contractors quite often send out misleading information as something to distract attention away from people's curiosity into looking into certain black project programs, and so they have to quite frequently invent cover stories. And so the topic of UFOs is a brilliant, type of a cover story to conceal certain kinds of programs. So that's what I'm talking about. But also, besides defense contractors, there are some private corporations that are very good in sending out disinformation and confusing people. And one of those organizations is an organization that I have researched for quite some time. It's called Wackenhut Corporation.
Sure.
And so anyway, that's my answer, part of my answer to your question.
Gotcha. And just imagine the budget these defense contractors would have they could finance a whole conference and pay off the organizers and or even manipulate them by inserting people into their lives. The budget, and then plus they have access to guys, former intelligence, former mercenaries. They have access to people that are savvy and experienced and trained in these kind of areas. So you can only imagine what's going on there. Now, the reason why I contacted you to come on the show is because I saw you. I just recently interviewed Bill Hamilton. I did 3 hours with him exclusive. He hasn't done an interview in 45 years. The president of Inslaw, the writer of the Promise software. And then we see this Netflix documentary come out, and you were commenting on it about how you've met some of these folks, and you wrote an excellent article called Behind the Mysterious Crash of a Helicopter near Area 51 in 1991 that gets into the whole Octopus Inslaw scandal. What do you have to share with us?
Well, no question about it. I wrote that article, years ago. I think it was around 2000.
September 17, 2010. September 17, 2010, yes. Right after my birthday.
2010. That's right. I wrote that article because I was researching about Area 51, and I found out that there was a strange crash of a military helicopter near Area 51, I think in 1991, and it was reported in Las Vegas Review-Journal, but nobody followed up on that story. But what happened was that there were 5 members of a private security company called the Wackenhut Corporation who were in that helicopter, and the story is that they were carrying some secretive documents, sensitive documents, and the entire helicopter crashed, and all of them died, and but that's the basic line of the story. But that I became fascinated into investigating Wackenhut because, of course, Wackenhut has always been known to be part of the security, outer perimeter security of Area 51. Not only Area 51, but outer perimeter security of many other military installations. But Wackenhut is a private company, and so they don't have any insignias or any type of a uniform when they guard those places. But so they are, they are not accountable in many ways. So, in 1992, a friend of mine, Gary Schultz, my former colleague of Santa Monica, and I decided to hold a conference, public conference, basically to expose the Wackenhut Corporation. And this conference was held in Arcadia in Southern California, and it was attended by a lot of people. I think about 150 to 180 people came, and believe it or not, among the people, audience, were some members of Wackenhut Corporation. And, this conference was organized by Gary Schultz and myself, but there was a special individual whom I call I call him Mr. Michael Younger. And he claimed that he was part of an organization associated with Navy SEAL Team 6, but he said he was part of an organization that went by the name COM-12, and he said that his organization was, against another section of the intelligence community who was trying to create chaos, in America. And that was in 1992. And Mr. Michael Younger said he was the liaison for the COM-12. And he was instrumental in bringing people to the conference. And, this was an amazing conference that was held. And a lot of people spoke in this conference, such as people like Maxwell Jordan and other, individuals, some of which were ufologists. But Michael Younger was the main speaker, and I don't know what to say about Michael Younger, but he was a mysterious individual who always used to wear dark trench coat. Mm. And one day in 1991, he came to my house in Gardena, California, and he knew nothing about, my daughter and so on. But yet, when he came to the house, he knew a lot of stuff about me. And he came to the house, and he sat down on the couch, and he was, at one point in time during our conversation with him, he just flipped out part of the dark trench coat, and in the shirt or on the belt, I don't know, but there was some kind of a badge, and a golden badge, and he was, I don't know if he was trying to tell me something, but he knew about my daughter, and, so I thought he was very credible. But anyway, he was even more credible when he spoke out at that conference in Arcadia. And by the way, that information about that conference in Arcadia, the information that was given there is in my old book called UFOs, The Grand Deception and the Coming New World Order. And, but this was an amazing conference. And in the conference, there was this gentleman whom later I befriended, this gentleman. His name was Ted Gunderson.
Right.
And Ted Gunderson was a former FBI agent, chief agent in charge of Los Angeles. And after he retired, he became interested in finding out more about things, and so he uncovered a lot of stuff. And so he became a friend of ours, and he was, by the way, he was in the conference. And Mr. Michael Younger told me inside the conference, he came to my table and whispered that there are some important people in this conference in the audience. And he said among the audience was a guy named George Pender, who was supposed to be connected with NSA. And then also he told me that there were a few very important people from the Wackenhut Corporation. And he whispered that to me in the ear at the table in the conference. And, after a while, after an hour or so, during the break, a gentleman came to me to the table, and he was Robert Booth Nichols, associated with Wackenhut Corporation. And so I was kind of intimidated because, how did he come to this conference? And besides Robert Booth Nichols, there was a Japanese-American individual named Harold Okimoto, who I think was from Hawaii, but some people said he was a shady character that was connected with some kind of arms dealing, group. So Robert Booth Nichols was involved in arms, dealing with arms, selling of arms and so on, weapons and so on. And so later on, Ted Gunderson told me that he was a dangerous person.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. But first, Ted Gunderson was also utilized to check out the background of Michael Riconosciuto and to determine whether or not he really had military intelligence connections, and he came back and said, yes, he did. Do we know who hired Gunderson for that task?
Well, I don't know who hired that, him for that special task. I don't know. I have no idea.
Then John Booth Nichols, what would attract John Booth Nichols to come to this conference of UFOs type people?
I don't know. Maybe he was curious. He was curious, maybe, of what we were going to say about Wackenhut Corporation and the coming New World Order and so on, all this kind of topic. Maybe he was curious, or maybe he was told by the Wackenhut Corporation to check out this conference because it was, about them as well. And so I'm not sure if George Wackenhut, I don't know who the founder of Wackenhut was, but, both Robert Booth Nichols and several others and this guy Harold Okimoto were present. And Robert Booth Nichols seemed like a very nice, kind personality as far as I was concerned. So I had no idea, and I was so shocked that later on Ted Gunderson told me that he was a dangerous guy.
Well, Nichols, I believe, was high up in Wackenhut. He was like on a board of directors over there, I believe, just going by my memory. But also, too, and he also was involved with the National Security Agency. There's no doubt about that. No, National Security Council within the White House. There's some documentation of that, too, as well. But at the end of his career, he was involved in a Ponzi scheme, right? And may have faked his own death. Are you aware of any of those details?
I don't have those kind of details because I was so concentrated on this conference so I didn't have time to think about anything else. But this Ted Gunderson, as you mentioned, knew that Michael Riconosciuto is definitely very, very intelligent scientist, an actual scientist. And, actually, here's another thing that involves me, because I believe that it was in Orange County, I think around the same time, maybe a few months before, I was talking to an audience in Orange County about Area 51. And among the audience was the wife of Michael